Welcome back to episode 2 of my journey to build a $100,000 Pokemon card collection from scratch. I'm on this mission to collect cards that I actually want, starting with the unique holo foils from base set 1 and base set 2, while simultaneously running my Pokemon business on the side to help fund this entire collection. Last week I laid out the foundation. I laid out the rules, the strategy, and the vision. But this week is where the rubber meets the road, and we're talking real progress, real challenges, and some exciting new developments that I honestly didn't see coming when I started this journey. If you're new here, let me quickly catch you up to date. This isn't just about throwing money at expensive cards and calling it a day. This is about building something meaningful, one card at a time, while staying true to what I actually enjoy collecting. And trust me, after this week's developments, I'm more convinced than ever that this approach to collecting is the right one for me. So settle in and let's dive into what I've been working on this week to help build my Pokemon card collection empire. So first, let's start off with the collection update because honestly, this is where I spent most of my time this week, and it led to something pretty exciting. From last week, one of the biggest things I needed to work on was my customized base set 1 and base set 2 unique holo foil tracker. Now, I know what you're thinking, it's just a spreadsheet, how hard can it be? Well, let me tell you, I'm not a perfectionist, but I wanted it done a certain way, and creating a tracker that actually works the way that I want turned out to be way more involved and time-consuming than I initially thought. You see, most card trackers out there are designed for traditional set collecting. Get every card in numerical order, check the box, and move on. But my approach is different. I'm collecting unique holo foils, which means I need to track not just which cards I have, but their condition, where I got them, how much I paid for them, how much they cost currently now, and most importantly, which ones I still need to hunt down. This tracker took me a better part of like one whole entire day to actually create. And I'm not gonna lie, there are moments where I question is all this stuff actually even necessary? But here's the thing. As I was building it, customizing every field, color coding the properties, setting up formulas to calculate my progress, something clicked. I realized that other collectors probably face this same problem. Most of us don't collect in a perfectly neat, straightforward, traditional way. We have our own systems. We have our own things that we want to collect. We have our own priorities. Our own weird little quirks that we want and how to track it. That's what we want. And that's when it hit me. I could probably sell customized card trackers as both a digital product and a service. And think about it. How many times have you tried to use someone else's tracking system only to find it doesn't quite fit how you actually want to collect? How many collectors out there are using basic spreadsheets or even worse, just trying to remember what they have? So here's what I'm thinking, and I want your input on this. What if I offered a service where I create completely customized card trackers for individual collectors? Want to know your Japanese cards from base set 1? Done. Want to track all the Tyrannotars? Easy. If you'd be interested in having me create a customized card tracker specifically for your collection, let's say you're collecting all the Slowpokes, whatever your collecting style is, comment the word "me" down below and mention what set you'd like to have created. This could be a legitimate service that I offer, and honestly, it feels like a natural extension of what I'm already doing for myself. But now let's actually talk about the progress because that's probably one of the things why you're here for. And the good news is that I already have a solid foundation to work with when it comes to collecting all the base set 1 and base set 2 holo foils from when I was younger. And going through my old collection and updating my tracker made me realize that I had a good chunk of this season's collection already set. However, there are 6 cards that I'm still missing from my collection. And these are the ones that I need to hunt down. Alakazam, Venusaur, Pidgeot, Wigglytuff, Raichu, and Nidoking. So if you hop onto my screen here, this is what I ultimately came out with as far as a card tracker that's personalized for me. And so up here we have the total number of cards in this collection, how many I own, how many cards are remaining, the total price I paid for this collection, and the collection value. This collection value is what I'm going to total as far as putting that towards the $100,000 collection for what this series is about. You can see that I'm about 71% already done with this collection, which for me was very surprising because I didn't know I had these many holo foils already. But as you can see, the card numbers correspond to the actual card themselves. And I just did a good mix of base set 1 and base set 2 unique holo foils, and you can drop down and say what's in hand, what you purchased, and what you already owned and traded. Here you can actually indicate that it's missing. You can also indicate the condition, and you can enter the price you paid, the market value, how you got the card, the date you got the card, and any other miscellaneous notes. So when I use this on my phone, what I found to be really helpful was the binder view portion, because the binder view actually correlates to the card images that you see here. So you could actually click on these links and it'll take you straight to TCG Player as far as what the card actually looks like. And binder review for me, it took me a long time to actually figure out the formulas, but it grays out or colors in depending if you have the card or not. So as you can see here, I'm missing Alakazam, I'm missing Nidoking, Raichu, Wigglytuff, Pidgeot, and Venusaur. But let's say that during this weekend's card show, I do get an Alakazam. I can change it to purchase, and then the Alakazam is going to fill in. So it works really well in mobile as well. It's not like mobile formatted, but I'm able to actually go ahead and go through this binder view to see what cards that I'm missing. So I plan to use this same exact structure for all my future collections. I haven't decided whether I'm going to collect Jungle or Fossil yet, or maybe I'm going to collect like a more modern set. But I thought this was a really good way just to get an overlook as far as which cards I'm missing and tying it to an actual tracker sheet like what you see right over here. So I'm really happy with this. It's not like the most appealing looking card tracker set, but what I like about it is that it's customized. It tells me the main information up front and the binder review, which is for me, this is going to be super helpful rather than me always just pulling up what the cards actually look like on TCG Player. Now, some of these cards are more expensive than others, and some might be harder to find in person based on their condition, but that's what makes this hunt exciting. Now, let's shift gears and talk about the business side of things, because this week brought some really interesting developments and a few reality checks. Let's be real about the other aspects of the business though, because not everything has been smooth sailing. My eBay sales have been really slow this week. I think part of it is timing. We're in that weird period between like major set releases where the market feels a bit stagnant maybe. But I also think I need to be a bit more strategic about what I'm listing and what people actually want. I feel like it's not enough to just throw cards up for eBay and hope for the best. However, I did make one move that I'm pretty excited about. I was able to buy someone's collection for about 70% of market value. So basically locking up my money in more Pokemon cards. And now I'm going to try reselling those individual pieces or trading them at the card show this week. So this is classic portfolio management. Buy in bulk at a discount, sell individuals at market rates. Now the margin should be pretty solid if I can move the inventory efficiently. And remember that the goal isn't just to make money, it's really to build a collection that I actually want while funding that growth through smart business moves. So speaking of smart moves, I also submitted my first batch of cards to PSA this week, and I've never done a PSA submission before. So this was definitely a learning experience. And I'm not gonna lie, the process was more involved than I expected. And I probably made a few rookie mistakes, but I'm gonna learn from it. My predictions for this PSA batch are cautiously optimistic. I mean, who isn't? I tried to be realistic about grades rather than hoping for perfect 10s on everything. And the goal here isn't just to get high grades, it's to understand the market value of what I already own and convert some of that into working capital for future purchases. Now, I also did 2 Whatnot streams this week, and honestly, again, the timing wasn't great maybe. They were both really slow. I streamed during the day and I streamed during the night. I'm probably going to try another stream tonight as well and see if that captures a different audience. I feel like the key with streaming is consistency and finding that right time slot where your audience is actually available. But here's something that I'm really excited about. I started my animated Pokemon story channel this week called Know Your Mon. This is a completely different type of content where I tell stories from the perspective of different Pokemon. Our first video, Why It Sucks to Be Ash's Charizard, is live right now, and I'll leave a link down below in the description. The main monetization for this channel will probably be YouTube AdSense, but more importantly, it's another way to build community around the Pokemon content. And speaking of finding things, I've been pretty lucky this week at getting sealed product at MSRP from places like Costco, Sam's Club, Target, Best Buy. This ties back to rule number 2 from episode 1, where I only buy sealed product at MSRP or make it through trades. Now, it takes patience and persistence, but I can honestly vouch for PokeNotify for letting me know when products are about to hit stores. I've been able to get a few Tyranitar Premium Collection boxes and also a few Destined Rivals booster bundles, all thanks to PokeNotify. I'll leave a link to them down below in the description. Now here's where things get really exciting. This weekend, there's a card show happening locally, and I'm planning to use this as my opportunity to complete my unique Base Set 1 and Base Set 2 holo foil collection. So remember those 6 cards that I'm missing? The Alakazam, Venusaur, Pidgeot, Wigglytuff, Raichu, and Nidoking? My goal is to walk out of that card show with all 6 of them, officially completing Season 1 of this collection journey. But here's the thing about card shows. they're not just about buying cards. Hopefully I can meet some new vendors or just some other collectors and tell them about my YouTube channel, which will help the brand presence overall. So what are my plans for this week? It's pretty simple actually. I want to completely finish my unique holofoil base set 1 and base set 2 collection, mainly from the card show that's happening this weekend. And if I can pull that off, it means season 1 of the series is actually complete. And I can move on to deciding what season 2 might look like. Maybe it's holofoils from Fossil, maybe it's all the jungle holofoils, maybe it's something completely different. The beauty of this approach is that each season can be its own adventure. I'm also planning to document the entire card show experience, so make sure to be subscribed for that. You know, as I've been working on this project over the past couple of weeks now, I keep coming back to something that I mentioned in episode 1, the idea that collecting should be about more than just accumulating valuable items. And this is what I mean when I talk about collecting what you want, rather than just collecting what's valuable. Value is important, okay? I mean, after all, this series is built around building a $100,000 collection, but it can't be the only consideration. And that's why I'm really excited about this tracker service idea, because I think there are a lot of collectors out there who feel the same way, but don't have the tools to collect in a way that makes sense for them personally. But that's where I stand though at the end of this episode. I've got my tracking system dialed in, I've got a clear plan for this weekend, and I've got some exciting business developments on the works. And if you're following along with this journey, I want to hear from you. Are you working on your own personalized collection? What sets are you currently focusing on? What challenges are you currently facing maybe? Drop a comment down below, because honestly, the community aspect of this entire hobby is just as important as the collecting itself. And remember, if you're interested in those customized trackers, comment the word me down below and mention which set you'd like to see me customize. I'm genuinely excited about this possibility of helping other collectors organize their collections in a way that makes sense on how they want to collect. And next week, we'll have the results of the card show and hopefully be complete with season 1. And it'll also be the beginning of whatever comes next. Until then, I'll see you then. Thanks for watching, and as always, collect what you want.